Consumer Reports was once a bastion of impartiality, or at least it appeared that way. Tough to say because the internet didn't really exist in those early days, and now we're getting a clearer picture of just how schizophrenic they can be. Let's take a look at some of their many varied, contradictory claims. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So you guys, this weekend, in fact today, just today, let's just be clear, I'm going to EVs versus the world. And it's originally called EV versus ICE, but it's EVs versus the world, put on by the Pacific Northwest Cars and Gear. You can find them on Instagram. They will have food trucks, drink trucks, Pacific Northwest local vendors, car and truck show, family-friendly event, raffle prizes, awards, live DJ, and much more. 10 to 4, free event at the LeMay Car Museum in Tacoma, Washington. Join us, won't you? I was going to reach out to them and tell them I'm coming, but I don't have Instagram. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, join us. So what are we talking about? It is so much fun. Did you know that Tesla is one of the least reliable used car brands? According to Consumer Reports, least reliable. Several owners of older Model S EVs. Old Model S EV. Okay, so first gen cars are less reliable than cars that have been in production for 30, 40 years. Interesting. Lexus and Toyota are at the top. So what are we talking about here? Yeah, Tesla's one of the least reliable in the focus on reliability of 5 to 10-year-old models. Okay, that's okay. The maker of the Model 3 and Y, just got to get that in there to make sure people are good and confused, is just 3 points away from the bottom of the chart, ranking above just Dodge and Chrysler. Oof. The other end of the spectrum, Lexus, Toyota, and Mazda. Look at these very good scores. But how could it be, you guys? How could it be when, why? So, yeah, Lexus, Model S and X included in their cars to avoid. The spin is great. Simon normally does pretty good work. No shade on Simon. But when you're digging into these, you gotta dig a little deeper. The inclusion of R1T in Consumer Reports used cars to avoid list may also have been hinted at earlier in the year. So what are we looking at here? 4 of the 5 least expensive car brands to maintain are American. What? Again, this is a Consumer Reports jam, if you will. Car ownership costs go beyond what you pay for a car. And our car testing goes the extra mile. Give me money, give me money, give me money. See, I also would like for you guys to support me. But we found there are significant differences in costs as cars age. It's muddied because a number of brands, including BMW and Toyota, offer free maintenance periods for new cars. I know I had a friend who had a BMW. I think at the time it was 36 months where just everything is included. Oil changes, everything. Nearly all new car warranties last 3 years, and repairs, if needed, are covered. Yes, very few do not do that. Those long warranties you see on EVs, the 7-year or the 8-year, 100,000-mile minimum, is only for the battery. I don't even know if it's required on the motors. Most will cover the battery and the motors, I think. But the difference to maintain a car on average between some brands can be thousands over a 10-year time frame. Yes, it can. So if you're looking, there should be very few surprises. Total 10-year cost of ownership, in addition to what you paid, is very low. It's very low. Tesla at number 1, Buick, Toyota, Lincoln, Ford, Chevrolet, and let's just scroll down, make it a little quicker here. Ram at 5 times the cost. 5 times? Yeah. Let's go up and see again. 600. Okay, so yeah, 3 times the cost. Audi, Porsche, Land Rover. So I had a friend who had a Land Rover, and it was, of course, out of warranty. It had 80, 90,000 miles on it, and the airbags went out, and I got to ride in it, and that was an adventure because it was nauseating. We went maybe 3 blocks, and it was bad. It was super, super bouncy. Make your car last. Oh, and then we're out of that. But what this is saying, according to Consumer Reports, is that Tesla has the lowest 10-year cost of ownership. Pretty interesting for a car that you won't recommend. Interesting. So then we get over to Tesla Model Y makes it to Consumer Reports best cars list. So I get it. The 2012, 2013, 2014 Model S's, little expensive to keep fixed. There were a lot of parts that would break. Door handles especially. The door handles would go bad. They were very overly complex and they needed frequent repairs, especially if you were using them in high wear applications like Uber and Lyft driving. So they would wear out. There's a gentleman in Portland who manages the local QC Charge location. They're a repair shop, and he was telling me how his Tesla from that era, his personal car, his Model S, has about 480,000 miles on it now. And it's had, I think, one battery pack replacement and one motor replacement. And he said, and that's it. And I said, what about door handles? He goes, oh, right, seven door handles. But every time they would replace them, most of which or all of which were under warranty, they would replace it with a simpler, more robust design. And now the door handles are pretty good. But there were a lot of changes that had to come about from those older Model S's. One is they had this fiddly spindle inside the motor that would lubricate the motor, that would lubricate the moving parts. Turns out all it did was, it didn't really add much, but it did have wear issues. His shop will, if you have one of those older cars, perform a delete on it where they pull the motor, open it up, remove that spindle, because that's Tesla's fix, and put it back together, slap it in. So here we are. Back at this story, let's take our friendly little look. Consumer Reports has released its best of 2024 list. Among them is Tesla Model Y. Now, what does that have in common with those older Toyotas and Lexuses? It's a high volume car. When you're making a whole bunch of something and selling them, it gets good. The more of something you make, the easier it is to make, the easier it is to make it right. The more of them, Model Y, best-selling car in the world. So yeah, looking at this, it's the best electric vehicle on the market. While it has a lot of the same benefits over other cars, like quick acceleration, it shines with responsive steering, frequent over-the-air updates, and access to Tesla's extensive supercharging network, eliminating range anxiety for longer trips. You know, the boys are up in Alaska right now. And by the boys, I mean Teslatino, Bearded Tesla, Gary Marks, and Teslatino's wife. And they are all up there doing an Arctic adventure. Nancy is her name, by the way. They're up there doing an Arctic adventure. And once they hit the end of the supercharger network and had to go onto public chargers, things got a little hairier. They got a little slower. They got a little more difficult. Fun fact, they brought with them, I think, 6 level 2 chargers with plans to have them installed along the path so people in the future will have charging. That's a great way to forge a new frontier. All right, back to the article. It's the sweet spot for EVs. They've been around long enough that they're not a brand new car company anymore. Model was Consumer Reports' best car of 2024, and its sibling, the Model 3, made it to the best cars of 2023 list. Model 3 also earned accolades because from Consumer Reports was the previous version. However, it'll be interesting to see how the upgrade, the Highland, the 3 Fresh, does. So when you see these reports, does it mean the car's bad? No, what it means is you got to give it a second. You got to think for a second. Because I deal with people all day on social media saying, oh, this is all good or this is all bad. You got to zoom out. Because I would have people say, look at this terrible, terrible report. And I'd say, look at, this is the same organization 1 month apart. They're testing different things. Both things can be true. An old Tesla can be unreliable while a new one can be very, very good. All right, last frame, and then I'll let you guys get about your day. But I should tell you that at 11, I've got an interview coming up with Ellie from Ellie in Space. It's part 1 of a 3-part series. It's going to be great. It is great. I know, because I already shot it. So adding context. See, how hard is it? Clean Technica, adding context. Most everyone in America has been screaming the headlines. Consumer Reports pummels the reliability. Electric vehicles have almost 80% more problems than gas-powered, etc. But wait, no need to take such drastic action. Let's read it. Electric vehicles, at least, let's see, hybrids are the most reliable and least reliable. Tesla Model Y is newly recommended. Well, gosh, if the Model Y is recommended, perhaps there's more to the story. See, and this is what we're talking about. This story actually goes into some detail, and it's quite a bit of detail. Autoblog decided to look behind the numbers. Okay, so it wasn't Clean Technica, but Autoblog. Consumer Reports reworked its methodology for deriving predicted reliability ratings and updated the questions. The results still bear out cliches such as vehicles that have been on the market longer being generally more reliable and sedans being generally more reliable than SUVs and trucks. So they're changing the weightings. That's kind of like a JD Power thing, like how JD Power loves their initial quality surveys. It ranked highest in initial quality. Well, that's great, but how does it rank over 5 years? Oh, well, we gave that award to someone else who paid us. And by the way, you cannot pay JD Power to give you a good rating, but if you tell them you're going to pay to license the name JD Power in your advertising, which you are required to do if you wish to use it, who knows, man? You might just get a whole bunch of awards. General Motors. Consumer Reports also grouped powertrains together when discussing reliability, which is where some issues start to appear. Apparently, EVs suffered 79% more problems. Shocking headlines, but it's also misleading. Most EVs are new to the market. So if you're going to take all of them and lump them together, yeah, you're going to find reliability problems with that brand new thing that just came out. Whether it's the Toyota Buzz Forks losing wheels or the Taycan facing constant in the shop recalls. And I don't mean constant, I mean periodic, but when you have to take it into the shop, it's gonna feel constant. So the takeaway, Clean Technica has published many articles on the true cost of ownership of electric vehicles, which they find are almost always cheaper than their gas cousins. If you can charge at home, this is the solution for you. This is what you need to do. Let me know in the comments. Are you coming out to see me at this event? I don't know how big it is. I don't know anything about it, but it's 92 minutes away. So I'm going to go. I'm going to check it out. What did I miss? What did I misunderstand? Leave it into the comments below. And everybody else, like, subscribe, do what you got to do. Stay tuned and juicy, I suppose. And if you feel like helping out, you could drop me a few bucks on Patreon as a patron, on YouTube as a channel member, on X as a subscriber, or you could use my Tesla referral and get $1,000 off, which gives me an in-store credit of $500. Be pretty cool either way. All right, you guys, stay tuned, stay juicy. I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots, perhaps today in Tacoma.